Got to be real.
So Carl Frampton today, he is the new IBF world champion at 122 pounds at super bantamweight. I was looking at the rankings and who else is in that weight class, and Rigondeaux's there. There's numerous fighters there. But before we go into that, I want to talk a little bit about Carl Frampton as a fighter and how he performed. And now, personally, I thought he performed really well. I've seen Carl Frampton fight before, but I haven't seen him. Like watch him from start to finish in a live fight. This is the first time I stopped and watched him in a full fight. I've seen like rounds. I've always I've jumped in where he's fighting, and I've just jumped in like halfway, quarter of the way through. But this is where I properly watched this fight. I waited for it and watched it all the way through, and I was impressed with Carl Frampton. I think that he's a good fighter. He's a boxer, but he can punch as well. He has some power. But I think the most important thing I noticed about Carl Frampton is that when he was facing, a good fighter today, he was facing a good fighter, a former world champion. When he was facing him, he always kept his glove chinned up to the right side of his chin when he was throwing his own left hook, because Carl Frampton, he's not a hitter like Matisse or Garcia or Maidana in his weight class anyway. He's not like that. So the thing is that we're just about to watch the Adrian Broner fight, by the way. So, he's a good fighter, and he's a boxer, but he can bang a little bit as well. And the thing is that when you're going up against a big puncher, you have to be cautious of the counter punch that you're gonna get hit with, the left hook or whatever, the right hook. And I noticed that when he was throwing, he always had the glove up, and he was always he was able to slip and move, and he wasn't getting caught with many counter punches. That to me was the most impressive thing, because a lot of fighters, you see, boxers, sometimes they can bang on the inside, but they get caught. I mean, we look at Lamont Peterson versus Matisse. Matisse knocked him out with a counter punch. Don't hook with a hooker, is the saying that goes. But Frampton, he showed he showed power, he showed speed, he showed footwork. There's not really much I can critique Carl Frampton on. I thought he was good, but. So I'm really happy, right, that he's the new IBF world champion, and I think it's really good for boxing. And that 122-pound weight class is stacking up. And in that weight class, you got Leo Santa Cruz, you got Scott Quigg, you've got Kid Galahad coming up domestically as well, and you've got the main guy who is there, which is Rigondeaux. Now, first of all, we'll just talk about Rigondeaux off the bat straight away, because Rigondeaux, he's the king of that division. And the thing is that, do I think Carl Frampton can beat Rigondeaux? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty confident that he wouldn't be able to beat Rigondeaux, not by a long shot. But I think that Carl Frampton has the capability to beat Abner Mares, who's willing to move down. I think he could beat Kid Galahad, who's moving up. I think he could beat Scott Quigg. I think Carl Frampton's he's a real good boxer, but I just think that someone like Rigondeaux he's too much of a slick good boxer. And I think that Carl Frampton, he's got I'd give him a 7 out of 10 for his boxing. I'd give him an 8 out of 10 for his boxing, and I'd give him maybe a 6 out of 10 for maybe a 7 out of 10 for his power. Not a small puncher by any stretch, but we look at Rigondeaux. He hasn't got as much power in my opinion as someone like Frampton, but his boxing skill is 10, and I just think that if stylistically, if they were to face, I think Rigondeaux would take him. But you look at Leo Santa Cruz and you look at Abner Mares. These are big fights for Carl Frampton. I think Carl Frampton needs to get out of this shell, and I know he's calling out Scott Quigg, which is a big domestic fight, but I think that he needs to take his name over into the States, and I think that he needs to fight them guys stateside. And I think a good fight for him is either Leo Santa Cruz or Abner Mares if he moves down. Abner Mares looked good in his last fight, but I truly think that Carl Frampton can beat Abner Mares. I think even though he's under Virgil Hunter, and he looked a little bit better in his fight, I think that he's going to take about 2-3 fights to settle under Virgil Hunter. I think another couple of fights will have Abner Mares looking really sharp. But I think if they were to face tomorrow, a few months from now, I think in the next fight, I think that Carl Frampton can beat Abner Mares, especially if Abner Mares is moving down in weight. I don't think he can beat Rigondeaux. I'll say it off the bat. I don't think he can beat Rigondeaux. But I think he could beat Leo Santa Cruz. I think he can take out the majority of the rest of the division. I think he's an exceptional fighter. I was really impressed with him. I'm really happy. I'm the new world champion, IBF, a legitimate world title. Before we see a big domestic, it's not a domestic showdown, but it's a, or is it? It's kind of, well, I suppose it is Northern Ireland, UK. I don't know, Scott Quigg, but uh, I'm interested to see who he fights next. I think it should be Leo Santa Cruz, but I think the logical fight is Abnamares. I think that's the fight that will most likely happen. That's the fight that should happen. Whether it's over here, whether it's over there, I think it's a tremendous fight, and that'll be his first real name on his on his resume. I think he's beaten some good fighters, but when he faces Abnamares, I think that'll be a legit name, a legit Mexican fighter who's beaten, and it'll throw him into the world boxing mix. He'll be up there with Kell Brook now. I mean, Kell Brook's got his name in the mix, and I think he'll be up on a similar level to that if he can beat Abnamares, Leo Santa Cruz, and them guys over there, and then Scott Quigg over here. I think it's really interesting. Good time, good weight division. I think you should stay away from Rigondeaux for now. Let me think. Comments in the section below. Subscribe as always. What do you guys think? What do you think about a fight between him and Kid Galahad? I think Kid Galahad's got tons of talent. I think that would be a really good fight as well. But Kid Galahad's still got he's still got time to climb up the ranks and build himself as a fighter. Let me know what you think. Comments in the section below. Make sure you subscribe. Go to my Facebook at facebook.com/BeRealOnline. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at Sham_Ayub. In a bit, guys.